Ruslan Kogan, who heads up Kogan and Milan Direct. Now Ruslan, at the age of 28, has been listed on the BRW Young Rich list, had both companies listed in the BRW Fast Starters, and has obviously built a highly recognised brand throughout Australia, in particular with the recently famous campaign of taking on Gerry Harvey. So Ruslan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Jack.
Now mate, I'm going to do my best to ignore the fact, being a Carlton man, you've got an Essendon shirt behind us. For the next 30 minutes I'm going to try and ignore that.
Good stuff. Yeah, hopefully these guys will know what they're doing this year. It said, actually got it a little while ago, it says end of an era, but James Heard's half of it, so
yeah,
we're about to see the start of a new era.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I would have thought you'd still be a couple of years off the new era.
We'll see how it goes.
Now Ruslan, you've been pretty visible lately, and you know, I'm sure a lot of the people watching are familiar with the brands. How did it all start for you?
Well, the whole entrepreneur space is something that I've loved for a long time. It's, you know, since the age of 10 I've run about 20 businesses, Milan Direct and Kogan being two of the more recent ones. It all, so, you know, you could say it started there, but yeah, just always loved the marketplace and innovating within it. So in terms of, you know, the current space with Kogan and where it's in, I've always loved technology. So I built my first computer when I was 9 years old. I finished top of the state in IT in high school, then got a scholarship to uni to study business systems. And the idea for Kogan was started when I did a semester in Miami. And you know, it was a great place to study. And I got there, and on day one, all the international students got together and we made it out to Walmart to buy bar fridges for our dorm rooms, and it ended up being a whole day exercise. We caught a bus, then a train, got to Walmart, which at uni you learn is the latest and greatest, and you know, the top of marketing and economies of scale and, you know, all of this sort of stuff, they should be the cheapest. And we bought our bar fridges and then had to carry them on the train and bus to get back to our dorms. The next day I see the local American kids, they're getting their bar fridges delivered by FedEx guys. And we've just spent a whole day in the heat, you know, getting our bar fridge. And then we were like, hey, you know, that was pretty cool. And then we speak to them and they got it for half the price that we did. So in 2003, at this point, online retail was booming in America. And I realized that, well, this big chain, Walmart, that's literally had billions of dollars pumped into it, couldn't compete on price and convenience with some of the smaller upstart online retailers. And when I got back to Australia, I resumed a position at Accenture as a management consultant. And a couple of things happened at a similar time which caused the start of Kogan. So one of them was, I was working on a project at Accenture, and it was to do with data migration. And as part of that project, they had a few graduates and they gave us all about 10,000 lines of data that we had to manipulate and migrate it to this new system. They expected us to do it manually. I found a pattern in the data, wrote a quick script, and the task was given to us on a Monday, and within half an hour I had done what I needed to do. And I took it to my manager and I was like, I'm finished. And the manager goes to me, no you're not, there was about a week's worth of work there, go back and do it properly, you obviously didn't understand the task, you know, all this. And I was like, no, you know, you were very clear, I understood the task, I have finished the task, I found a better way to do it. And the manager didn't want a bar of it. It was like, nah, go away, you didn't finish it, there's a week worth of work there. So to me, you know, working is all about value, and that completely demoralised me. At the same time, I was looking for a TV, and I was earning decent money, shopped around, couldn't afford one. So I started contacting a few factories in China to see, well, you know, China makes all this stuff, what's it actually cost? And I realised that I could land a TV for $1,000 that was selling in the shops for $3,000. So what had happened at Accenture made me give my resignation in straight away. Actually, you know, I wanted to mitigate risk as much as possible, so I told them, I said, look, can I have 1 year leave without pay? And they were like, nah. And I was like, all right, well then I resigned against the advice of a lot of people. And then, so Wednesday I gave in my resignation, asked for it to be effective immediately, even though I had to give them 4 weeks notice, something like that. They allowed me to leave straight away. So it showed how much they valued what my input there. And yeah, so Wednesday gave him my resignation. By Sunday, Kogan was up and running with a website. The orders had been placed for the TVs, and I set out on a mission to fill that gap in the market. You know, why should something that you could land in Australia for $1,000 be selling for $3,000 in the stores? And I thought I was onto something big, and you know, the last 5 years have sort of shown that. Although, you know, we did launch LivePrice last Wednesday, and on Wednesday we made more sales than in the whole first year of Kogan.
Is that right?
So we're doing a day now what we used to do in our first year.
That's amazing.
So it's been quite a bit of growth.
Yeah, and I think when a lot of brands sort of, particularly that have an aggressive PR campaign, a lot of the time in the public eye it looks as though they've popped up overnight and they're an overnight success. Now, as you've just explained, that wasn't the case with Kogan nor Milan Direct. How long did it take for you to get to a point where you thought, okay, I'm really sitting at the helm of a real business here? And what was some of the work involved from startup to, you know, we've got something serious on our hands?
I actually thought on day one we've got something serious on our hands here, just purely because the beauty with an online business is you're getting instant feedback. You know, like if I were to start Kogan 20 years ago without an online presence, it would be months and months of planning to where are we going to position our stores and showrooms, and it'd be millions of dollars in rent, it'd be millions of dollars in stock that you have to hold in each of those showrooms, and only after that planning and implementation over months, if not years, would you then only open up shop and start seeing the results. With online, when we started selling, you know, the moment we launched, within hours there's emails coming through, there's live chats coming through, you get to feel the customer and you get to see, you know, what the customers are saying. And, you know, from that point, the fact that people were buying a brand that they'd never heard of, at that stage you couldn't even Google Kogan. Or we got, you know, the whole PR and, you know, the wider community noticing us.
Yeah.
We had been grinding away for a year at that stage, so could see pretty much straight away that customers want it.
Yeah, amazing. Okay.
A little less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me.